This certainly isn't a well-groomed graveyard. Most of the graves are overgrown with twining weeds and roots. That's William Gordon's grave, my great-grandfather. He died in August 1981. No idea why he wasn't buried in the family crypt. That's the Gordon family crypt. The musty skeletons of my ancestors are just behind this door. I'm not interested in paying them a family visit. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. Those must be wild boars. There's supposed to be plenty of them around here. Or demonic hellhounds, as they say in the local fables. Why should I go into the middle of the woods? Whoa! I better get out of here fast if I don't want to get mauled. I can't keep this up for too long. How come I'm not waking up? This must just be a nightmare. Have they gone? Calm before the storm? I think I better wait until those beasts have lost their appetite. Ah, that's better. I can see now. What the hell? That almost looks the same as the shredder in the museum. There's something lying in it. It's soft, damp, and cold. Yuck. A rusty old garden implement. Damn, don't say somebody lives here. There's something lying under the bed, but I can't get at it. Half the bed has already collapsed into the floor. I can't drag it through the hut. Gotcha. A cardboard box. Somebody scribbled something on the lid. I can't decipher it. The word definitely begins with an R, though. Let's take a look inside. A rag doll. Pretty ugly and worn out. I recognize it. I've seen it before. It was Ralph's. Yep, that's his doll. Mr. Bubby, or whatever he called it. Strange. How'd it get here? Why has Ralph left it? I mean, he never used to go anywhere without it. What else have we got? A luminous sticker with a smiley on it. And a cork from a bottle. This must be Ralph's shack. Or his hideaway. I'm guessing that's paint thinners or gasoline for cleaning stuff. Ugh, smells something like that at least. I hope that the light doesn't attract any wild animals, or worse. A peculiar shadow. I think I know where that mysterious shadow's coming from. Well, how about that? And so the key falls into my possession. Fits. As I thought, full of junk. So let's... Damn! That looks like one of the robes and the masks from the order that was after me. But at the same time, it's also proof that the order existed. I'll take it with me. There's some paper in the robe. Seems to be a letter to the order. Quite badly torn. Unable to stop the evil, already sacrificed. His objective, or something happens to me. No trace is to be... I'm not completely certain, but it appears to be a request to cover up all traces of the order. That would explain why the robe is in the shack. I'll put it back. Perhaps I'll find something useful after all. A corkscrew and a yardstick. They look in reasonable shape. I'll take them. Whoa, chainsaw. I've got a feeling that this baby's gonna come in handy. The tank's just about half full. Hopefully that'll be enough. Alright, that ought to hold. Now we can get going. No thanks. I don't really want to know what's died in there. The floorboards here sure creak loudly. The rotten boards shouldn't be a problem for the saw, but I ought to check what's underneath them first. Another door. Let's see now. Was kinda obvious. There's storage behind it for logs. It stretches right to the door. There's no getting through here. I can't cut my way through the whole wood storage with the little bit of gas I've got.
Так, а что ж тогда я тут сделать-то могу?
A couple of luminous smiley stickers. Whoever lives here must be scared of the dark. A file. The escape tool of choice, in the comics at least. Interesting. There's at least half a meter of space below the boards. The shack must have been built on stilts. The next time I'm being pursued by hellhounds and hide in a shack, I'll look out for that as I go in. I'll just cut myself a trapdoor in the floor. It can also be closed again in an emergency. Cool. I can sneak outside through the hole. Good. Let's try it. I'm better leaving the heavy junk here. Good. No wild beasts for miles. Weird. No tracks. The beasties couldn't have just disappeared into thin air. Ugh. Oh, no.
Describe what you saw.
I saw myself as a child. I was playing with my sister in the woods. It's not far away from the castle. I could see it behind the trees. There was a man there, too.
Could you make out who it is?
No, he had his back to me. But something very bad has happened.
What's happened?
My sister, she's fallen in a hole. She's screaming. What should I do?
Adrian, you're not there anymore. Remember what you did at the time.
I ran to the hole, and I don't know. I can't remember. You woke me up before I could help her.
I didn't wake you up, Adrian. You woke up of your own accord. It would appear everything in you is trying to fend off this memory. Seems you really want to suppress it.
Or I just can't remember.
The memory is still there. You just need to let it happen.
It's easy for you to say.
Perhaps you should tackle this memory in a conscious state. Try and find the place in the woods that you saw. You need an anchor in the present.
If you say so.
And with regards to the hallucinations, I've ordered a medication. It should help to suppress them.
Very good. I'll take it. At least you can rely on conventional medicine.
Please take this prescription and give it to a buyer in the shop. She'll give you the medication.
Oh, she's a pharmacist too?
In a little village like this, everyone has more than one role.
Doctor?
How can I help you?
What can you tell me about Warm Hill?
Well, not a lot, really. It's a little hamlet that belongs to Willow Creek. There are only a few people living there. Most of the houses are falling apart. I think it's where all the miners used to live.
Do you know Ralph?
Ralph? No. Who's that?
Oh, not so important. Something strange happened to me last night. I don't know what was real and what wasn't.
Tell me about it, Adrian.
I was just on my way back to the village when I was attacked by large black dogs in the woods. Fortunately, there was a shack close by, which I was able to hold up in. I couldn't get back out through the door. Once I cut my way outside through the floor with a chainsaw, there were no signs the dogs had been there at all. then I fell unconscious. Supposedly, Murray found me there in the middle of the night and brought me back to the hotel. I can't remember any of that.
A classic dream of repression. The black dogs, and then... there's nothing there. It's a deep-seated fear of the consequences of your actions.
I saw a woman dressed in white. Almost looked like some kind of wedding dress.
Where did you see her?
When I was locked in the shack, from the window, she was standing on the edge of the clearing. She saw me and then disappeared into the woods.
Did she say anything or do anything?
Well, I didn't hear anything, but perhaps. She certainly wasn't just wandering around. It almost seemed as though she was looking for something.
Really? There's a legend here in Willow Creek about a white lady who wanders through the woods looking for her child. In vain, as the story goes, but no one has ever seen her.
Until now.
Don't worry, Adrian. That's a completely natural reaction to this myth. It originates from the collective longing for a pure mother figure who can be adored like a saint. Part of the whole thing that there are chosen ones who perceive her apparition. And everyone wants to be a chosen one. That's just human.
You've got an explanation for everything, haven't you?
Psychology is the modern theology.
What do these black dogs mean? What kind of creatures are they?
Fleeing from vicious, aggressive dogs. That sounds like a typical nightmare. It expresses the fear of one's own aggressive side. Were the dogs alone, or was someone with them?
No, they were alone. Just the dogs.
Dogs who roam around without a human master suggests a suppressed issue with dominance. It could also suggest exactly the opposite, though. That the dreamer is neglecting a particular part of himself, which is alluded to by the nature of the dogs. What breed of dog were they?
No idea. Hellhounds? They were definitely huge and black.
Large dogs reinforce the meaning I was talking about. The fact that they're black would suggest their origin in the subconscious.
Are there any tablets I can take for this? Catch you later.
Take care.
My head's still pounding. Lucky that Murray found me in the woods yesterday. I probably would have frozen otherwise. I should get this medication as soon as possible. And I could ask the inspector whether Murray's finally corrected his statement. And I've got an appointment with the priest, too. It can't be that difficult to find my father's grave. Oh, and I should find that ominous place in the woods. Enjoy it, Darren. It's gonna be a long day. Hey, Matt. So, when you finally gonna get gone with your fun fair?
So, how are we then, eh? Still possessed by the devil?
I wouldn't joke about it if I were you.
That's supposed to be a threat?
Let's say more, well-meant recommendation.
You really have got a few screws loose.
So, what exactly did go wrong when you were born?
Not half as much as when you were born, Mr. Twisted Fire Starter.
Have fun.
Oi, arsehole! When you miss me, paint a heart on the wall.
Will do. In your blood. Closed. Strange. The shop was still open this time yesterday. Hey, Zach.
What do you want now?
Did I say something wrong?
No, I'm just a bit busy. The inspector hasn't been here all morning, and I have to do everything myself.
Where's the inspector?
Cafe, I think.
Or maybe you can help me. Has Murray been here about his statement?
Murray? Yes, he was here. Wanted to discuss something urgently with the inspector.
Do you know what it was about?
I can't tell you that.
Abaya's shop is closed. Is today some kind of holiday that I don't know about?
No?
I'm sure you must have heard of the White Lady.
She's spooked around the woods for centuries. Why do you ask? Is she a relative of yours too?
By the way, I was in the woods last night and I got chased by some black dogs into a shack. I got locked in, but I managed to escape using a chainsaw. Then I fell unconscious.
You just can't help yourself, am I right? And why are you telling me this?
You look so bored. Goodbye, Constable. A barrel. It says Willow Creek Corner Shop on it. Just look at that. That's a buyer's mailbox. And there's the post from today. The package is from a tea supplier. It says here that the customer is Gordon's Palace. Either the postman's quite lazy, or he doesn't like Murray. Maybe I should take the package to him. I'll be dropping by the hotel sooner or later. What else is there? That must be mine. The sender's a drug company. I'll leave the prescription in the barrel, so a buyer knows that I picked up my medication myself. Hello, Madam Fortuna.
Adrian, I knew you would call again.
Who else could it be?
Pick a card.
Stop.
I've drawn the chariot.
Oh, you were stuck in the snow?
Snow? No, your card, Adrian. You were looking for the right way. You will have to make a decision. And I see death.
Again.
Someone will shoot out your lights.
How am I supposed to understand that?
You don't need to understand, Adrian, but you can put up a fight.
How can I put up a fight?
Stay away from shooting.
Yeah. Thanks. What a load of crap.
Ну как сказать, чепуха. Первое это предсказание сбылось.
Huh. There's Bobby, the village idiot. Well, no, that's being unfair. He's pretty much the nicest guy for miles around. Hello, Bobby.
Oh, hi, Darren. Is it true that you're evil now?
No, Bobby, you don't need to be scared. I'd never do anything to anyone.
The others said that you set fire to the castle.
You shouldn't believe everything people tell you, Bobby. I'm innocent. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's what Tom says all the time too. Okay, Darren. I believe you.
Tell me, Bobby, do you know the village policeman?
Yeah, but I don't like him. Tom doesn't like him either.
Are you working here now?
Yeah, but not for money, but for Denise. She's my new girlfriend. I help her out.
I get it. Aren't you working in the museum anymore?
No. Mrs. Puff sent me away.
The mayoress sent you away? How come she did that?
I didn't take enough care, she said. I did lose the key.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. And is Denise happy you're helping her out?
Yeah, she gives me muffins and chocolate.
That's kind of her.
But I don't want to have it for nothing. I'll pay for it later. I don't want her to get into trouble.
That's nice of you, Bobby. You really like her then?
Oh, yeah. Denise is much prettier than Mrs. Puff. She's even more beautiful than the sun.
What's your brother Tom up to then?
I don't know. He's not around much right now. But that's good too. He said he's going to kill you if he finds you.
I'd better be going.
Okay, Darren.
The cafe waiter is a real stiff. Maybe he's just swallowed something rather nasty? Ah, I'll just ask him. Hi.
Good day, sir.
You almost look like a waiter to me.
You're absolutely right, sir. My name is Edward.
Has the inspector been here yet today?
No, sir. I haven't seen him all day. I've just got here.
And Denise?
Denise has also disappeared.
Both of them not there, huh?
No.
What can you tell me about Willow Creek?
A quiet place. Bad for midwives, they'd find no work here, but ideal for authors, if they happen to write thrillers.
Yeah, or horror stories. It's a nice cafe you've got here.
Thank you, sir. I do all I can to keep it that way.
Aren't cafes a bit uncommon in England?
If you say so, sir. But I think this place deserves an alternative to that drunkard's dive over there.
I'd better be going.
Please do us the honor again soon, sir.
Weird. Murray isn't there. A guest book. I'm definitely not writing my name in there. Murray? Doesn't seem to be there. I'll put the package on his desk. Hello? What's this? How come Murray's involved with the law? I can't believe it. It's a receipt for my bail. Signed by the judge, paid by Murray. What the hell is this guy up to?
What are you doing here, Mr. Michaels?
Actually, I just wanted to be nice and brought you your package from the village. But then I found this. I'd like some answers. What are you up to, Murray?
You know, Mr. Michaels, it's very simple. I believe in your innocence, and I'm sure you don't deserve to be in jail.
Yeah, sure. A miser like you risks 5,000 pounds in order to help a complete stranger. Nonsense. What's going on? Tell me.
I'd suggest you just be happy you're free, and we don't talk about it anymore.
Oh no, you're not getting away from me that easily. I want to know what you're up to, Murray. I want to hear it in your own words. Now!
Mr. Michaels, you know how it is. When something terrible happens somewhere, it attracts the people. But not forever. People these days are quickly bored and want to see something new. And honestly, it's been 3 weeks since you
I don't
last
believe
killed.
it.
You paid the bail in hope that I'd start to murder people? Just so your damn hotel is fully booked?
Don't get so upset, Mr. Michaels.
You're totally insane. Screw you.
You should be thankful, Mr. Michaels. No one else would have put up your bail. No one else. You have no friends in Willow Creek. You're a lonely maniac, an arsonist, a criminal. You have no one but me, and you should be damn thankful.
Let room service know I'm checking out.
I don't get it. A long pair of lopping shears. I think I'll borrow them. A pile of firewood, I assume. Almost everyone here still heats with wood. It's covered by an old door, which protects it from the rain. The door even has a round glass window in it.
Mr. Gravedigger?
Yes, lad.
The church is closed. Didn't the priest say he'd be back again today?
He wanted to sit off after breakfast. Call back again later.
Have you ever heard about the White Lady in the woods?
Yes, I've heard about it, but I've never seen her. Apparently only those of pure heart can see her. That can't be true, though, 'cause no one here in the village has seen her, not even the priest.
What does that tell us about the people of Willow Creek?
Nonsense. There's nothing wrong with the people here. It's that murderous clan in the castle who've been spreading fear and terror for centuries. It's a pity you didn't do your job right, boy. The castle should have burned down to its foundations. Then there'd finally be some peace around here.
It wasn't me. I'd better be going.
Keep your eyes peeled, lad.
What was that? A flashback? Am I having them in the mornings now? What does this little man in my subconscious want to tell me? I better pop one of those pills. That's it. It's easy to carry the barbed wire away with the shears. I remember this house. I used to play with Angelina here when I was a kid. Could it be that Joyce was right? Goa? Inviting. I doubt that's the original lettering. I can see mounts for 2 more letters. A garbage can with a lock on it. Could be protection against wild animals. Or prying eyes. I don't think the place in my hypnosis was so near to the house. Looks like no one's lived here for decades, apart from the rats, of course. The hole isn't here. What a rust bucket, but it suits the house. What the? It's just a blanket. Keep calm, Darren. There's nothing there but scrub. Nothing. No hole in the ground. Wait a minute. There's something there. A luminous sticker. Just like the one I found in the hut in the woods. Perhaps Ralph lost it here. Or found it. Does he live here now? I don't think searching around here anymore will help. If the hole in the woods that Angelina fell in as a child was somewhere around here, it's long since disappeared. Find an anchor in reality? What garbage. Nothing. Perhaps Ralph's looking for a new place to live. Maybe the hut in the woods wasn't lonely enough for him. I'll knock. Nothing. There doesn't seem to be anyone home. Ah. Excuse me, Reverend.
Reverend is too much of an honor, my son. I'm Father Frederick.
I see. Father, I'm Darren Michaels. You might know me already from the papers.
I do. I assume you come to confess.
No, actually I haven't. I don't have anything to confess yet.
What can I do for you, then?
Can you tell me something about the graveyard?
Oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? You can really sense the centuries past when you're in it. According to the records, some of the graves are over 800 years old.
Probably all Gordons.
The Gordons have had their own crypt since 1512. The academy was burned down and, well, space was needed for the many dead, and that's why the graveyard was rearranged.
Seems the gravedigger has also been working here for an eternity.
Mark? Oh, he does his job well. Yes, he really feels all that digging in his bones. He's been looking for an apprentice for years, but no one seems to be interested. Are you educated in a profession?
I'm a physics student.
Ah. Well, let's talk about something else.
It would seem you've been in charge here for a long time.
What are 40 years compared to eternity?
The church here was built by Marcus Gordon, right?
The good Marcus, yes. It was the year 1213 when Marcus Gordon struck down his brother Mordred in a duel.
Marcus killed Mordred? Why?
A brotherly feud which had been smoldering for some time. Marcus embodied good, Mordred evil, according to the legend. Marcus beat Mordred. Good prevailed.
And what's this got to do with the Gordon curse? It originated in this period, right?
Yes, as far as I know. Mordred uttered the curse shortly before he drew his last breath. He put a curse on Marcus and all following generations. But that will soon be over. Lady Victoria is the last of the Gordons. The family line ends with her. Mercifully, one would be forgiven to say, as the clan has terrorized this whole region with its dreadful family history. But I'm sure you already know all of this. Seems like you are well informed.
Let's put it this way. I've been forced against my will to look at the curse in a bit more detail.
What do you mean by that?
My real name is Adrian Gordon. I belong to that clan there in the castle.
Oh, that's, I'd say, a surprise. Adrian Gordon. I thought he died as a 13-year-old. Didn't he fall down the castle staircase?
That's part of the dreadful family history that you were talking about before. But as you can see, I'm still alive.
Risen again from the dead. My congratulations and God's blessing, my son. And what is your relationship to the Gordons, if I may ask?
Perhaps you can remember Samuel Gordon?
Oh, yes, Samuel. He came to confession shortly before he... Well, you know. Yes, I remember him.
He was my father.
That explains quite a lot.
Can you tell me where Samuel Gordon is buried?
I'm afraid I can't tell you in which grave he's buried, but I can understand that you'd like to know.
Is there any kind of plan of who is buried where?
Not for the anonymous graves. But wait, I think I know how I can help you.
Thank you, Father. We were talking about Marcus and Mordred.
Yes, that's right. Marcus struck down his brother Mordred in a duel in the year 1213. After that, in order to atone for his actions, he had this church built here on pagan ground. A few years later, he also built the academy, also on pagan ground. It was to be used to house the Gordon Chronicles, so the curse could be researched by academics. But the academy was completely burned to the ground in 1512. Most of the chronicles were destroyed. Everything that could be recovered was brought here, to the church.
Right, but all of these stories always begin with Marcus killing his brother. Does no one know the cause of the dispute?
Well, there are various theories. Some say that Mordred was possessed by the devil. I also read somewhere that they were fighting over a woman, which is pretty much the same thing, right? Basically, it's about the fact that Marcus Gordon, the more religious and stable brother, won. Mordred is depicted as a godless sinner who's burning in hell to this day.
Do you know if the brothers were born here?
Probably not. Both were tireless crusaders in the name of the church. But why they built a castle here in Willow Creek can only be speculated on. Perhaps they freed the land of non-believers and the castle used to be a kind of keep in order to hold the area. Or they were gifted the land by the church as a reward for their support in the Crusades.
Thank you, Father. I'd like to hear the story about Marcus and Mordred again.
My pleasure. Marcus struck down his brother, Mordred, a few years it was, but the
Right,
well,
but
I always
do you know if the brother...
perhaps or
Thank you,
they-
Father. Thanks for the help.
May the Lord be with you.
Good. And let's see who's buried here. Funerals in August 1981. William Gordon, Dr. Heinz Herman, Victor Sebastian Valley, Henry Stanton, Dr. Robert Gordon, James, Samuel Gordon. There are 5 graves, but 7 names on the list. Too many. William's grave is back there. I've already seen it. Okay, I know that William wasn't buried here, but I still need to eliminate another name. Okay, I know that William wasn't buried here, but I still need to eliminate another name. The wall has collapsed right in the middle without having a demolition ball taken to it. Takes a few hundred years for that kind of thing to happen. The gravedigger mentioned something about wild boars rampaging around here, but they must have been really big specimens and damn wild too. And of all places, they chose to run wild here. Strange. Hello, Father.
Welcome back, Adrian.
Did you know Dr. Herman?
Yes. He worked in the mortuary. Was a very busy pathologist and a friend of the Gordons. He was in league with the manager of the sanatorium, Robert Gordon, hence the closeness to the Gordons. They both died a violent death.
They were murdered. And why were they buried anonymously?
After their death, they found out unpleasant things about them.
What kind of things?
Dreadful experiments on innocent souls, their patients. I don't really want to talk about it. They certainly never came to confession. Neither Herman nor Robert Gordon. They died as sinners and as such forfeited their right to receive the last rites.
How come William Gordon isn't in the family crypt?
He committed suicide and actually belonged on the northern wall. But Lady Victoria convinced me that the circumstances of William's death couldn't be clarified completely. Samuel also doubted that William committed suicide. The way that William fell from the tower window suggested that he was pushed rather than jumped himself. But as I said, that couldn't be clarified. So this burial place was a compromise between what Lady Victoria wanted for William and my duty as a parish priest.
Last rites. What's that for again? And why can a murderer get them, but not someone who commits suicide?
The last rites wash you clean of your sins and prevent your soul from having to burn in hell. Only those who repent their sins can receive it, though. If a dying murderer repents his actions, then he can receive the last rites. Someone who commits suicide cannot, and therefore lands in hell.
How simple life can be sometimes. Who was Henry Stanton?
Henry. The name is familiar, but I can't remember exactly. He definitely wasn't from around here. I'm sorry. I don't know anymore.
Who might know more then?
Ask Mark. He's in the village more often than I am.
Did you know Robert Gordon?
Oh yes, Robert. Victoria's first son. He was manager of the sanatorium. Caused Victoria lots of distress. She was so disappointed in him when she heard about what he'd done in the sanatorium. He managed to keep it all secret during his lifetime.
Who is this James on the list? Doesn't he have a surname?
Yes, well, James. He was William Gordon's illegitimate son. He hanged himself after years of being experimented on in the sanatorium. It's thought that he is the one who murdered Robert Gordon.
What kind of family have I been born into? Thanks for the help.
May the Lord be with you.
This is where Miss Valley is buried. Murdered by my cursed sister. Perhaps I should bring a few flowers the next time I visit. Victor Sebastian Valley. Little Vic. He's sure to be buried in the family grave next to his sister. I can cross him off the anonymous list. Mr. Gravedigger?
Yes, lad.
The graves by the wall, right at the back, they look different to the rest. Why's that?
That's where the poor devils who have no money for a real funeral are buried. And the lost souls, the murderers and suicides.
Uh-huh. And they're just thrown in a hole and buried?
Well, they do get a coffin, but the corpse is put in it the wrong way round. Those who commit suicide, I mean.
Why?
It's supposed to stop the dead from finding their way out of the grave. They used to chop their heads off and put them between their legs to stop them running around. Pure superstition. As if you could stop the undead like that.
I've heard that you knew Henry Stanton well.
Henry Stanton? Which Stanton? Oh, Henry, the old drunk. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I knew him. He was usually sitting in the pub when I went for my after-work beer.
Did he say anything?
Well, he wasn't exactly one for words. He was one for beer, though. He drank like a fish. Used to hang around with Tom, I think. They did a bit of business. I don't know what exactly. Dodgy business, like. He was the castle gardener, but not for long. Perhaps a year. Then he drowned in a well. Apparently that Samuel had something to do with it. But if you ask me, Henry just fell in there drunk.
Do you know what he did beforehand? Or where he came from?
No idea. He didn't come from around here. He didn't have any family either, and I never saw him with a woman. He was a lone wolf. Ask Tom. Perhaps he can tell you more.
Good idea. About as good as using a hairdryer in the bath. I'd better be going.
Keep your eyes peeled, lad.